Scorpio, something sacred is unfolding on November 6th and you cannot afford to be alone. This video was meant to find you, and the moment it reached you, something aligned between your soul and the timing of the universe. November 6th, 2025, is not just another Thursday on the calendar. It is a divine threshold. A powerful spiritual gate is opening, but only for those willing to step forward and be witnessed. Not metaphorically, but physically. Visibly. Consciously. If you're here right now, listening to these words, it means the universe has extended an invitation to you and not everyone will receive it. This is why you must not stay home alone on this day. Not because of fear, but because of purpose. Because what is meant to come alive within you must be seen by the world in order to fully exist. You see, Scorpio, you are not meant to walk this transition in solitude. You are not being asked to do more spiritual work in private. Quite the opposite. What has been ignited inside you over the last weeks during the heavy energies of October, the eclipse gateways, and the November 1st activation is now ready to be anchored. And that anchoring must happen through human presence. Through connection. Through interaction. Through being seen. This is what no one tells you. That activation without anchoring is only half of the journey. That potential without witness will dissolve back into possibility. That the version of you who prayed, affirmed, meditated, journaled, cried, and surrendered in silence must now walk out into the light of the world and let others reflect back your transformation. That's what this day is about. That's why this video is here. So let me ask you something real. Do you feel the subtle shift within you? The strange pull towards something new? The quiet whisper that keeps telling you that you're being prepared for a life you haven't yet lived? Because Scorpio, the energy of November 6th will not come with fireworks. It will come with invitations. Gentle signs. Open doors. And you will either walk through them or miss what was meant for you entirely. I say this with full love and clarity. If you stay home alone on November 6th, if you retreat into familiar patterns, if you isolate even just a little too long, the door will quietly close. And the opportunity to step into your highest timeline with all its joy, purpose, clarity, abundance, and divine confirmation will dissolve. But not for everyone. Only for those who chose not to show up. You didn't come this far to repeat old cycles. You didn't awaken to your spiritual power just to dim it again. You are meant to rise. You are meant to be witnessed. And I want to honor your presence here today. Thank you for being part of this sacred space. For every like, every comment, every share, every subscription you bring this channel, miracle of the sign, deeper into alignment with the souls we are meant to reach. Your energy, your participation, your intention, it makes everything possible. So, Scorpio, if this message is already resonating with your heart, your spirit, your intuition, take a moment to comment below and say, I will not be alone on November 6th. Let this be your declaration. Let this be the start of your anchoring. Because what the universe is preparing to show you is breathtaking. Stay with me until the very end of this message. You're not going to want to miss what's coming next. Scorpio, if you've made it this far, your soul already knows that October wasn't simply another month passing by, it was a sacred unraveling. It was the quiet death of a version of you that could no longer walk with you into what's next. October, in its intensity, mirrored the deepest truths of your sign: death and rebirth, endings that give birth to beginnings, darkness that teaches us to recognize the light. The eclipses that swept through the Libra-Aries axis during this time weren't here to play games. They were surgical, soul-cutting, asking you to confront your relationships, your self-worth, your boundaries, your buried rage, and the masks you've worn just to survive. These weren't just celestial events, they were cosmic invitations to finally release what you've outgrown, even if it once felt like home. There is something profoundly courageous about grieving who you were, while still believing in who you're becoming. That's exactly what October demanded of you. And now, as we cross the threshold into November, we don't simply enter a new month, we enter a new vibration. One that no longer tolerates the old stories. One that carries the code of resurrection. November is where your inner resurrection begins to take form. The soul work you did in October, whether it was letting go of a toxic relationship, confronting your self-doubt, weeping over prayers that felt unanswered, or simply surviving the weight of silence, it all counted. Nothing was wasted. The portal on November 1st, known as the 11:1 Gateway, marked the activation of a higher timeline. It was a spiritual alignment, a moment of celestial synchronization where your higher self met you halfway, but only if you were present enough to receive it. Yet here's the truth few will tell you: activation is not the end. It is the beginning of a sacred agreement. Because the timeline you aligned with on November 1st is now waiting for you to step into it physically, with intention, with action, with presence. The seeds you planted in pain, in prayer, in stillness, they are sprouting just beneath the surface. But seeds do not grow in the dark forever. They break through the soil only when they feel the warmth of the sun, and when they are strong enough to risk exposure. Scorpio, your soul is reaching for the light. And as we move deeper into November, the cosmic climate supports your rise. With the sun in Scorpio and the moon dancing into bold Leo around the 6th, the sky is asking you not to hide, not this time. The energy is shifting from internal processing to external expression. It's not about rushing into the world unprepared, but about finally recognizing that you are no longer the same. And it's time the world sees that too. This part of your journey is not about proving anything. It's about embodying everything you've learned through the fire. It's about no longer playing small in rooms you've outgrown. It's about standing in the light and letting your presence speak louder than your pain. Even when it feels uncomfortable. Especially when it does. In spiritual language, this is the moment of becoming. In faith-based healing, this is the equivalent of walking forward before the sea parts, trusting that your path will rise to meet your feet as you move. It echoes the reminder that in times of transition, God doesn't always shout. Sometimes, He whispers. Sometimes, He is silent. But He is never absent. And in the quiet unfolding of November, you are being asked to remember that the power is no longer in the letting go, it is in the stepping forward. So take this moment in. Let it settle into your bones. You are not empty after all you've released, you are spacious. Ready. Aligned. And the new life you've been asking for? It's already waiting on the other side of your becoming. Scorpio, as we continue to walk through this sacred unfolding together, the deeper meanings begin to reveal themselves, not in loud declarations, but in quiet, symbolic truths. The 3 tarot cards that appeared in this part of your journey were not random. They are mirrors. And as with all mirrors, what they reflect depends on your willingness to truly see not only who you've been, but who you're becoming. The sun appears not just as a symbol of joy or clarity, but as a radiant reminder that the light you've been waiting for has always existed within you. Yet, like the first morning light breaking through the dense fog, it only becomes visible when you choose to rise and meet it. You must step out of the shadows. You must come forward not with perfection, but with presence. This card asks, are you ready to be seen for who you are now, not who you were? And there's something gentle, almost redemptive, about the way the sun beckons you to live fully in your essence unapologetically. It's not just about success or positivity. It's about the power of authenticity. About finally recognizing that your inner radiance has always been worthy of being reflected back. Light recognizes light, and when you show up in your truth, the universe reflects that truth tenfold. Then comes judgment. This card carries the weight of spiritual gravity. Not as punishment, but as awakening. It is the moment you realize that you are no longer able to sleep through the call. You are being summoned. Not by external forces, but by your own soul. A voice from within that whispers, you are ready now. And the call doesn't need to be dramatic. Sometimes, it's a quiet knowing. A restlessness. A sense that the life you've known no longer fits who you've become. Judgment invites you to rise not because you're being evaluated, but because you're being recognized. This is a reckoning of alignment. All that you've gone through, the lessons, the letting go, the silent prayers, they weren't in vain. They brought you here. To this moment of choice. Of courage. Of clarity. You are not being forced to transform. You're being reminded that you already have. And now it's time for your actions to match your new vibration. And finally, the Three of Cups. This card softens everything. It brings in warmth, community, connection, the space where healing no longer feels like a solitary pursuit. There is profound wisdom in knowing that no matter how deep your spiritual evolution, the transformation isn't fully integrated until it is shared, until it is witnessed. Joy, after all, multiplies in the presence of others. This card reminds you that you were never meant to walk alone, even if you've learned how to survive that way. Sometimes healing comes in the form of laughter shared between kindred spirits. Sometimes, it's someone simply looking into your eyes and saying, I see you. And in that reflection, you see yourself more clearly. That's how energy grounds itself into reality, through resonance. Through presence. Through recognition. Which brings us to the law of attraction. The idea that your frequency becomes your experience isn't just metaphysical theory, it's emotional truth. What you put out, you attract. But what most people forget is that frequency needs feedback. It must be witnessed to stabilize. You can align with the highest version of yourself through meditation and prayer, but until you allow yourself to be seen, truly seen by the world around you, that alignment remains fragile. Unanchored. Potential without form. This is why your presence matters. This is why stepping out into the world on November 6th is not about proving your worth, but about allowing the vibration you've cultivated to lock into place. Not just in theory, but in your lived reality. The energy you carry must meet the eyes of another to become embodied, solid, real. So Scorpio, as these three cards reflect your journey, understand that they are not predictions, they are invitations. The sun asks you to shine. Judgment calls you to rise. And the Three of Cups reminds you to be seen, not just for your sake, but because someone else out there needs to see what healing truly looks like. And maybe, just maybe, your light will be the mirror that calls them home too. When we speak of transformation, Scorpio, we often think it's an internal process, quiet, solitary, sacred. And while there's truth in that, the universe doesn't create miracles for us to keep them hidden. Energy, by its very nature, is meant to move, to interact, to be reflected. That is where science and soul meet, in the invisible bridge between potential and embodiment. And right now, you are standing on that bridge. In quantum physics, there's a concept known as superposition. It means that all possibilities of a system exist at once until something observes it. Until something witnesses the energy, nothing collapses into form. You could be the highest version of yourself, the most healed, the most abundant, the most awakened, still remain invisible, even to yourself, unless there is an observer, a moment of reflection, an anchoring point in reality. This is not abstract theory. It's an energetic truth that governs both particles and people. And it is especially true for you on November 6th. When you stay home alone on this day, you remain in energetic limbo. Everything you activated on November 1, the codes, the clarity, the emotional upgrades, remain suspended in a vibrational state, not yet grounded. Without reflection, the wave doesn't collapse. There is no real-world feedback loop. There is no confirmation from life that says, yes, this is the new you. And when that doesn't happen, your nervous system begins to doubt the shift. Your body doesn't know whether to hold on to the new or fall back into the familiar. And almost always, it defaults to what's most practiced. You gradually slip back into older frequencies, not because you failed, not because you weren't strong enough, but because you were unanchored, untethered, alone with your becoming, with nowhere for it to land. Energy needs to be witnessed. And witnessing, in this context, is not about validation or praise. It's about stabilization. When someone sees you as your new self, when their eyes hold your growth, even briefly, it signals to your subconscious that the shift is real. That your transformation wasn't a dream or a fleeting emotion, but a true quantum leap into another version of you. One that has shape, form, direction. Think of it like this. Imagine a golden door appearing before you, glowing with promise. Everything you've prayed for, healing, expansion, love, clarity, lies just beyond it. But the door doesn't swing open automatically. It waits. And the only way to step through it is to be present in the world, to let your feet hit the ground, to let others bear witness to your passage. If you sit home in silence, the door remains only a possibility. It lingers. It flickers. And eventually, it fades. You may wake up on November 7th feeling confused, hollow, like something significant brushed past you but didn't touch you. You may remember how clear you felt on November 1st, how empowered, how aligned. And then wonder why it slipped away. The answer will not lie in your lack of effort but in your lack of exposure. The shift didn't stick because you didn't step forward and let the world respond to it. And this isn't just energetic poetry, it's behavioral science. Our identity is shaped in part by how others respond to us. When the outer world mirrors back our inner transformation, that's when the shift gets locked in. That's when our new story begins to write itself in the real world. So on November 6th, the danger isn't danger in the traditional sense. It's energetic stagnation. The risk is not that something bad will happen but that something sacred won't. You'll miss the exact window where everything was aligned to support your embodiment. That golden door won't stay open forever. It doesn't threaten, it invites you. But it requires something in return, your willingness to show up. And Scorpio, if you're reading this now, you've already done the hard part. You've awakened. You've let go. You've prepared. Don't let the story end just before it becomes real. Be seen. Be present. Let your energy be mirrored. That's how you collapse potential into power. That's how you anchor the life that's been waiting to meet you. Scorpio, by the time we reach November 6th, the energies that have been brewing beneath the surface finally ask to be made real. This is not simply a day on the calendar. It is a point of anchoring, a cosmic checkpoint where the invisible becomes visible, and the intentions you've carried begin to crystallize into experience. You've walked through release. You've allowed what needed to fall away to be dissolved. Now, the stars, the skies, and the rhythm of time itself are asking you one sacred question. Will you embody the person you've been preparing to become? Astrologically, the moon transiting Leo brings a clear and loving command: show up as your authentic self. Leo energy doesn't shy away from attention, it embraces it not for ego, but for truth. It is the boldness to express your heart without apology, to take up space not out of entitlement, but because your light deserves to be seen. When the moon moves through Leo, your emotional landscape is colored with courage. You're invited to step forward as the main character in your own story, to stop hiding behind past versions of yourself, and to begin living in alignment with the frequency you've spent months calling in. Simultaneously, Venus touching Uranus brings a spark of divine disruption. This is the astrology of breakthrough, of unexpected beauty, of the kind of shift that catches you off guard in the best way. It's the nudge from the universe that you cannot control everything, but you can say yes to the invitations that light you up. These energies combined create a powerful blend: authenticity plus surprise equals transformation. But only if you participate. This is why the actions you take on November 6th matter so deeply. Not because the universe demands performance, but because reality responds to alignment. Spending a minimum of 4 uninterrupted hours out in the world creates the energetic continuity needed for integration. You're not just passing time, you're re-entering into a ritual of embodiment. Eye contact with a stranger, a genuine smile, a grounded conversation, these are not small moments. They are activations. Each exchange is a signal to your nervous system that the new version of you is not only real, but reflected. And this presence, Scorpio, must be intentional. This is not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about stepping into the energy of who you truly are before the world had a chance to tell you otherwise. When you show up as your future self, you send a signal into the quantum field that says, "This is who I am now." And the field listens. It reorganizes. It begins moving people, opportunities, resources, and synchronicities in response to your embodied signal. This is also why it's crucial to avoid the people who most strongly associate you with your past. Not because they are bad, but because their lens may be outdated. And when someone projects your old self onto you repeatedly, it's easy to energetically shrink to fit their perception. Instead, let yourself be mirrored by new energies, people who don't carry the weight of your history, who see you clearly in your present frequency, and reflect back the truth of who you're becoming. Throughout the day, follow the whispers. A sudden invitation, an intuitive urge to go somewhere unfamiliar, an unexpected encounter, these are not coincidences. The universe often speaks through subtlety, not volume. And when your energy is clear, no alcohol, no distractions, you'll be able to sense the difference between a random event and a divine nudge. Document your day in whatever way feels true to you. A photo, a sentence in your journal, a voice note to yourself. These become proof points to your subconscious. This shift was real. I was there. I felt it. I lived it. The mind often forgets. The body remembers through ritual. And you are anchoring through action. Numerologically, November 6, 2025 breaks down to the number 8, a symbol of abundance, authority, and karmic fulfillment. The number of infinite flow and divine justice. The number that says, you are ready to receive what is already yours. But to receive, you must show up. You must open your hands, your eyes, your heart. So on this day, let every movement be sacred. Let every interaction carry weight. Let every step be a vote for your new reality. The universe is not testing you. It is co-creating with you. But it can only do so if you step into the field not in hiding, but in presence. Not in fear, but in knowing. This is the moment your inner world becomes your outer life. Let it be seen. Let it be solid. Let it begin. As the day draws to a close, Scorpio, and the final golden embers of November 6th fade into the quiet of the night, a different kind of magic begins to unfold, one that doesn't shout, but whispers. This is the moment where you seal everything that has taken shape. Not with effort, but with intention. Not with action, but with sacred acknowledgement. The shift you've experienced today, even if subtle, is real. You stepped out. You were seen. You allowed your new energy to touch the world. And now, as the moon hangs overhead, your soul asks for something simple but profound, a ritual of remembering. This isn't about performance. It's not about doing something dramatic or grand. It's about claiming, with quiet authority, that what happened today was not random. That the you who showed up embodied, grounded, and open was not a temporary version. It was your true self. And now, you get to choose to continue as them. That's the power of affirmation. It doesn't just declare what is true, it reinforces it until your nervous system no longer doubts. So before you fall asleep tonight, take a moment, hand over heart, and speak these words aloud or silently within yourself. Today, I anchored my soul's light into the world. I am no longer who I was. I am the one who has been called by name. These words are more than just sentences. They are energetic keys. They help your subconscious integrate what your conscious self experienced. They remind the cells of your body to remember the light you walked in today and to carry that memory forward when the world gets loud again. And as you rest, remember this truth. You do not need a room full of people to feel transformed. You don't need validation from crowds or applause from strangers. Sometimes, one person seeing you in your light is enough. One moment of being witnessed, truly seen, can undo years of invisibility. And if that didn't happen today, don't think the door is closed. Because sometimes, the one heart that sees you first is your own. Transformation doesn't always require force. It begins with a quiet yes. And it continues with simple acts of love toward yourself, acts that seem so small, yet hold the vibration of something eternal. Drinking water with intention. Moving your body gently. Letting your breath deepen. These are not just habits of wellness, they are signals to the universe that you are still open. Still here. Still walking the path. So much of what we call anxiety is simply unexpressed potential energy asking to be moved. When you feel restless, when your thoughts race, when you wonder if you're falling behind, take a walk. Step outside and feel the ground beneath you. Reconnect with your breath. Anchor yourself again. And if there's no one to reach for in that moment, say this: then I will walk with the unseen. I will move forward in faith, even if I don't yet feel the wind at my back. Because you are not alone. You never have been. Even in your most silent seasons, even when no one seems to see the work you're doing on the inside, you are still seen. And every time you show up, even in the smallest way, you make it easier for the next version of you to rise. Let tonight be a night of sacred closure. Not the end of something, but the gentle locking in of something beautiful. You have shown up in your truth, and that is always enough. You don't need to chase what's meant for you. You just need to keep saying yes to the light inside you. And one day, you'll look back and realize, the shift didn't happen all at once. It happened in quiet moments like this, where you chose to believe in what could be, even when you couldn't see it fully yet. So rest, Scorpio. Let the night hold you. You've done what few are willing to do. You've stepped into the unknown and called it home. Let this be the beginning of the life that has been waiting for you all along. Scorpio, the truth is you were never meant to ask permission to become who you truly are. You were born with the light already within you. And yet, life teaches us to dim, to shrink, to wait for signs. But what if the sign has already come? What if this message, this very moment, was it? What if this is your invitation to no longer delay your becoming, to no longer hide behind layers of fear, fatigue, or old versions of yourself? What if your only task now is to say yes fully, gently, bravely? Today, you've remembered that anchoring your soul into the world isn't something that happens only in sacred silence, but in sacred action. The kind of action that begins with walking out your front door and choosing to be seen. By a stranger. By the sky. By your own reflection in a cafe window. Because when you are witnessed, truly witnessed, you begin to solidify the transformation that's already happened within you. And that's not just energetic philosophy. That's how we claim our timelines. That's how we collapse spiritual potential into physical reality. So let me ask you, not with pressure, but with loving clarity, will you show up for yourself on November 6th? Will you allow your new frequency to be reflected back by the world around you? Will you let yourself be treated like the version of you who is already healed, already empowered, already walking in their divine purpose? You don't need a crowd. You don't need a grand gesture. You only need to be present. And open. And willing to let the version of you that you've been praying into existence finally take a real step forward. If this message has touched something in you, if it stirred a knowing, or a quiet yes in your heart, I invite you to declare it out loud in the comments. I am ready to step into the light on November 6th. Let that sentence be a sacred contract between you and your future. And maybe your comment will be the very mirror someone else needs to say yes to their path, too. And if this video resonated, Please take a moment to like it, share it with someone who may need these words, and subscribe to Miracle of the Sign. This is more than a channel, it's a space of healing, of awakening, of deep remembering. Your presence here is part of a collective wave of souls who are saying, I'm done hiding. I'm ready to live in alignment with who I was born to be. Scorpio, walk outside on November 6th. Let the world feel your shift. Let your eyes meet someone else's. Let your presence leave an imprint. Because when the miracle finds you, and you'll know in your bones, you said yes. You stepped out. You were seen. And that changed everything.